ready to trade in our casual observer hats for something a little more insightful.
Let's do it.
Today, we're diving deep into the world of ballet.
Yeah, it's way more than just pretty moves, you know? There's a
Yeah.
whole lot of technique and artistry underneath.
Exactly. And our guide for this deep dive is Ballet Illustrated by Valentin Serich.
Such a great resource, especially if you, like me, are trying to decode this intricate dance form.
Totally. So, where do we even begin? This book is packed with info.
Well, it's all about the foundation. Ballet builds on these fundamental positions and movements.
Right. Like those basic positions first, second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Yeah, those are super important. They might look simple, but, like, trust me, they're deceptively challenging.
Okay, so let's break it down then.
Okay, so let's take first position, for example,
Mm.
right? It's not just standing with your heels together. You're actually rotating your legs outward from the hip.
Oh, I see. Like turning your legs out.
Yeah, and engaging those specific muscles to get that graceful turnout.
Turnout. That's key in ballet, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's about creating those long, beautiful lines. Ballet's famous for those.
Makes sense. So it's as much about strength and precision as it is about grace.
Exactly.
Like with gymnasts. They make everything look effortless, but you know it takes years of training.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And speaking of training, the book talks about these three essential movements: plie, releve, and tendu.
Those are the foundation right there.
So plie, that's like bending, right?
Exactly. It's basically a ballet squat. You're engaging your core, strengthening those leg muscles.
So ballet dancers are basically athletes then.
100%. They
Yeah.
need that strength and control for all those intricate moves.
Wow, I never really thought about it like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's fascinating. And what about tendu? What's that all about?
Tendu is like this controlled stretch. You extend your leg out, but keep that turn out.
So still focusing on those lines.
Yes, it's all about developing precision. You need that control for the more complex stuff.
Right, because you see how those tiny controlled movements just draw your eye.
Totally. It's captivating.
Okay, so we've got our basic positions, our pliés,
Mm-hmm.
our tendus.
Mm-hmm.
Time to learn some real steps.
Let's do it.
Sarge introduces a few: jeté, pas de bourrée, and chassé.
He does. And the best part, he gives us these literal translations, really helps understand the movement.
Oh, that's cool. Like what?
So jeté means to throw.
Oh, like throwing your leg out.
Yes, one leg gracefully extending as if you're throwing it. It's very cool to see.
I bet. And what about the others?
Okay, get this. Pas de bourrée literally translates to step of the drunkard.
Wait, what? Step of the drunkard? That doesn't sound very graceful.
No, right? But it's actually very fluid. Quick, three-step sequence.
Okay, so how does that even work?
So imagine you step lightly behind, then to the side, and then to the side again.
So it's about that smooth transition.
Exactly.
Okay, so maybe not as clumsy as it sounds.
Definitely not.
And then what was the last one? Chassé.
Yes, that means chased.
Chased. So one foot chases the other.
Basically, you're gliding smoothly across the floor, one foot kind of pursuing the other one.
I like that. So we've got throw, drunkard, step, chased.
Hmm.
Are we doing ballet or learning another language here?
Right. But it's cool, huh? The names really capture the feel of the steps.
Yeah, it definitely makes them more memorable.
Yeah.
But those are just individual steps, right? How do they all come together?
That's where things get really interesting. The book actually shows how they link up in a simple sequence.
Ooh, which way?
It's plié, tendu, jeté, pas de bourrée, and then chassé. All those moves we just talked about.
Whoa. So you're not just learning steps, you're learning how to transition between them.
Yes. It's about coordinating your body, moving through space with intention.
That's so cool. It's like those individual steps are just words, and now we're forming sentences.
I like that analogy.
And what comes after sentences?
Paragraphs.
Exactly. Or in ballet terms,
Turns.
turns. That's where we're headed next. The graceful pirouette, the chassé turn, which I guess combines that chased step with a turn.
You got it.
This is getting good. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk about something super important for any ballerina: spot.
Spotting. Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
crucial, especially for those quick turns.
Yeah, because I'd be so dizzy. So how does it work? The book describes it as focusing your eyes on a fixed point while turning and then quickly whipping your head around to refocus on that same spot.
Yeah, it's like you're tricking your brain. You're
Okay, yeah.
basically preventing dizziness. It's honestly pretty ingenious when you think about how many rotations some of these sequences involve.
Yeah, I'd be seeing stars.
Right.
Okay, so spotting, definitely important.
Essential.
But speaking of impressive moves, it's time for something else. Something that takes our ballet skills to new heights.
You mean,
Jumps. We're talking jumps.
let's do it.
The book highlights two basic ones, sauté and échappé.
Ah, yes, classics.
So what's the difference?
Sauté is your classic vertical jump, straight up and down.
Okay, got it. And échappé.
Échappé means escaping. So picture this. You start with your feet together, and then when you jump, you land with your feet apart.
Oh, so like jumping out of a confined space?
Exactly.
I'm telling you, these ballet terms could be a whole new way of talking.
Right.
But, okay, so we've got our positions, our steps, our turns, our jumps.
It's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
But we haven't forgotten those long, graceful lines that ballet is famous for.
Ah, the lines. Those are key.
And that brings us to
Extensions.
extensions. So tell me, is it all about how high you can lift your leg?
It's a part of it, sure. But it's more about creating this continuous, graceful line from your fingertips all the way to your toes.
Oh, wow.
It takes core strength, control, and of course, maintaining that beautiful ballet posture.
So even when you're reaching for those sky-high extensions, posture is key.
Absolutely. Good posture is crucial for everything. For balance, for alignment, for preventing injuries, and not just in ballet, by the way. Good posture is important no matter what you do.
It's true. I need to work on mine, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, this is all amazing, but how does it all come together in a performance?
The big picture. That's where combinations come in. It's like taking all those individual elements and weaving them into this cohesive dance.
Right, like those individual steps are just words, and the combinations are the sentences.
Exactly. They're like those pieces of a puzzle that come together to make a beautiful picture.
And every good picture needs the right composition.
Yes.
A ballet combination needs rhythm and flow.
Absolutely.
And, of course, that dash of musicality.
Oh, for sure.
And speaking of music,
Yes.
the book talks about the crucial role of the accompanist.
Oh, they're essential.
Yeah.
It's so much more than just background music, you know? They're like a musical partner working closely with the dancers,
Really?
enhancing the emotion, helping to tell the story of the dance through music.
It's like they're another instrument in the orchestra, almost.
Exactly. They set the tempo, the mood, even cue certain movements, you know?
Wow. I
Yeah.
never thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really this dynamic interplay between the music and the movement.
100%.
That's fascinating. But before we get totally lost in the music here,
Yeah.
let's shift gears for a second and talk about something else that's important in ballet.
Okay.
Something that's often unspoken, but incredibly important.
What's that?
Etiquette.
Ah, yes, etiquette.
Right. There's got to be some kind of code of conduct, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's all about respect. Respect for the studio, for the instructor, and for your fellow dancers.
Makes sense, yeah.
It helps to create this respectful, productive learning environment for everyone.
So for those of us who are new to the world of ballet, like, what are the key things to keep in mind?
Well, first and foremost, punctuality is key.
Okay, so be on time.
Exactly. Showing up on time shows that you respect everyone's time, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Being late is disrespectful.
Exactly. And then there's attire.
Oh, right. Like what you wear.
Yeah, most ballet classes have a dress code.
What is it usually?
Usually a leotard, tights, ballet slippers.
Makes sense. Got to be able to move freely.
Yes. It's about freedom of movement, but also maintaining that professional look.
It's like a uniform in a way.
Exactly. It shows you're there to focus, to work hard.
Yeah, I like that.
And speaking of focus, when the instructor is talking,
Yeah.
it's important to listen attentively to observe their demonstrations.
Right, because you don't want to miss any of those crucial tips or corrections.
Exactly. And it's also important to be aware of your space.
Oh, right, because ballet studios can get crowded, especially during those big movements.
They can. You gotta be mindful of the other dancers around you.
Yeah, don't want to be doing any impromptu pirouettes into somebody else.
Right. Safety first.
Okay, so be on time, wear the right gear, pay attention, be aware of your space. What else?
And last but not least, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Oh, yeah, good point.
If you're not sure about something, just ask. It's always better to clarify than to risk developing bad habits.
That's good advice for anything, really, not just ballet.
It really is.
So we've got our technique down. We know how to behave ourselves in the studio. What's next?
Well, for those who are ready to level up their skills, Sarich has some great advice.
Yeah. Like what?
He emphasizes the importance of incremental learning.
Incremental learning. What's that?
It means gradually challenging yourself as you build a solid foundation.
Okay, so like don't try to do a grand jeté before you've mastered a simple sauté.
Exactly. It's about building upon each skill you learn.
Makes sense.
And remember, feedback is crucial.
Right, like having a coach.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to ask your instructors or even more experienced dancers for guidance.
It's like having a ballet mentor in your corner.
Exactly. They can help you refine your technique, help you reach your full potential.
This is great stuff.
It is.
Okay, we've talked technique, etiquette. What about the music? I feel like there's this deeper connection there than just background noise.
Oh, absolutely. Ballet is as much about musicality as it is about technical skill.
It's true. When you see those dancers move so gracefully to the music.
It's magical, isn't it? The music sets the tone, the mood. It even dictates the rhythm and pace of the movements.
That's so cool. It's like the music is telling a story, too.
Yes. And just like a good story, a ballet performance benefits from variety and contrast.
What do you mean?
Well, Sarich actually recommends exploring other dance forms.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like contemporary dance, for example.
Interesting.
He says it can enhance your musicality and expression.
Oh, that makes sense. So it's like cross-training for dancers, in a way.
Exactly. It's about broadening your artistic horizons, you know?
Yeah. It makes you realize that ballet, even though we're focusing on it, it's not this isolated art form.
It's not.
It draws inspiration from, like, all these other disciplines.
It does. And just like any art form, practice is paramount.
Oh, for sure. You're not going to
Yeah,
get anywhere without practice.
Exactly. Sarich encourages dancers to visualize complex sequences before actually doing them physically.
Oh, interesting.
It's like creating a mental movie of the movement.
I like that. So you're playing it out in your mind before your body even moves.
Exactly. It helps you solidify the technique,
Right.
prepare for the physical execution. He also suggests breaking down those challenging movements into slower motions.
Oh, so like slow motion practice.
Exactly. Focus on each part, then gradually increase the speed.
That's a good tip.
It helps you really understand the mechanics of the movement, which ultimately leads to a more fluid and controlled execution.
It really is all about the practice.
It is.
Perfect practice makes perfect.
Exactly.
And it's so clear how much attention to detail goes into ballet,
It really is.
from the technique to the artistry.
It all comes together.
This has been so eye-opening.
Oh, good.
We went from knowing basically nothing about ballet to
Right.
understanding the basic positions, the steps, even some of the nuances of the musicality, the etiquette.
Yeah, it's a whole world.
It really is. And
Uh-huh.
we've only scratched the surface here.
That's true, but it's a good start.
But it gives you a whole new appreciation for what you're watching.
I hope so.
Oh yeah, next time I see a ballet, I'm going to be looking for all those subtle preparations
Right. You'll start to notice all the little details.
and those amazing extensions
And
and
the musicality.
yeah. And maybe I'll spot a step of the drunkard or two.
I bet you will.
Well, on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have...
We'll leave you to further explore the beautiful and intricate world of ballet.
It's a fascinating world.
It really is. Until next time, happy learning, everyone.